Karoline Leavitt stepped out of the sleek black SUV, adjusting her coat as a crisp breeze swept through the city streets. The grand entrance of the Liberty Hotel towered above her, its glass doors reflecting the bustling evening lights of downtown Boston. The doorman, a tall man in a navy uniform, gave a polite nod as he opened the door for her. "Good evening, Miss Leavitt. Welcome to the Liberty," he greeted, his tone respectful and warm. "Thank you," Carolyn replied, offering a small smile. She pulled her rolling suitcase behind her, entering the expansive lobby. The space was beautifully decorated with marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and a spacious seating area adorned with plush armchairs. She approached the front desk where a young, well-dressed receptionist greeted her with a professional smile. "Good evening, Ms. Leavitt. How may I assist you today?" Caroline leaned forward slightly, resting a hand on the counter. "Good evening. I have a reservation under Leavitt." The receptionist tapped on the keyboard, her eyes lighting up as the reservation appeared. "Yes, we have you booked for a suite on the executive floor. Would you like assistance with your luggage?" Caroline shook her head. "No need, I've got it. Just the room key would be great." As the receptionist prepared the key card, a few guests milling around the lobby seemed to recognize Caroline, whispering among themselves. A middle-aged couple sitting near the fireplace gave her a subtle thumbs up, clearly approving of her presence. Caroline nodded back politely. Just as the receptionist handed her the key, a young man in his late 20s, dressed casually in jeans and a hoodie, approached the counter. He seemed agitated, his gaze fixed on Caroline. "Are you really her?" he blurted out. Caroline turned to face him, her expression calm but curious. "Excuse me?" The man scoffed, shaking his head. "You're Karoline Leavitt, right? The Trump puppet? Can't believe they're letting people like you stay here." A hush fell over the lobby as heads turned, sensing tension. The receptionist froze, unsure of how to react. Caroline kept her composure, not letting his tone affect her. "I'm staying here just like anyone else," she replied evenly. "Is there a problem?" The man sneered. "Problem? Yeah, the problem is people like you who think backing that fascist makes you some kind of hero. You and your kind ruin this country." Caroline raised an eyebrow, keeping her tone calm. "I'm sorry you feel that way, but I don't base my principles on labels. I support policies that I believe help Americans. If you disagree, that's your right." The man huffed, his voice rising. "You're a disgrace, spreading hate in the name of patriotism. Trump supporters like you make me sick." Several guests were now watching intently, some looking uncomfortable, while others seemed annoyed at the man's aggressive behavior. A young woman near the entrance whispered to her friend, "What's his problem?" Carolyn took a breath, steady and composed. "Sir, I respect your right to have an opinion, but shouting at me in a hotel lobby isn't going to change my views or yours. Maybe we could discuss it rationally instead." The man scoffed again. "Discuss? You don't discuss. You just spout the same garbage about freedom while backing a dictator. You're just another brainwashed conservative." Caroline remained unflappable. "Freedom means the right to disagree. It doesn't mean shouting down those who think differently. I'm here for a personal stay, not a political debate. If you'd like to discuss ideas, I'm more than willing. But this," she gestured to his hostile stance, "isn't a conversation. It's just hostility." A few guests murmured in agreement, nodding subtly. An older man sitting in a nearby armchair spoke up. "Leave the lady alone, son. She's not here for your ranting." The man whipped his head around. "You're defending her? Seriously? You know who she is, right?" The older man shrugged. "I know she's got every right to stay here just like you. Acting like a bully doesn't make you right." The young man's face flushed, but before he could respond, the hotel manager approached swiftly, his expression serious but professional. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to lower your voice and refrain from harassing our guests." The man gestured wildly. "Harassing? I'm just telling the truth. People like her shouldn't be welcomed in places like this. She's part of the problem." The manager remained firm. "Our hotel welcomes all guests regardless of their political views. If you continue to disturb the peace, I will have to ask you to leave." Carolyn gave the manager a respectful nod, grateful for his intervention. "I appreciate that," she said softly. The man glared at her one last time before storming out, muttering curses under his breath. As the glass doors swung shut behind him, the tension in the lobby seemed to dissipate. A few guests offered Karoline encouraging smiles, one even saying, "You handled that with grace." Karoline smiled back, exhaling the tension. "Thank you. Sometimes it's better to stay calm rather than match hostility with hostility." The manager apologized once more. "We're truly sorry for the disturbance, Ms. Leavitt. Your room is ready, and please let us know if you need anything during your stay." Caroline nodded, her calm demeanor intact. "I appreciate your professionalism. Not everyone agrees with me, and that's okay. It's how we handle disagreement that matters." With that, she took her room key and made her way to the elevator, the lobby slowly returning to its usual atmosphere. Caroline stepped into the elevator, trying to shake off the unsettling encounter. She knew these moments came with the territory, but the blatant hostility still lingered in her mind. As the elevator began to ascend, she took a deep breath, reminding herself to stay calm and focused. Just as the doors were about to close, a loud voice echoed from the lobby. "Hey, you think you can just walk away after spouting that garbage?" Carolyn's eyes widened as she quickly pressed the open button. The doors slid apart, revealing the same man from earlier, now even more agitated, pacing back and forth in front of the reception desk. Several guests looked uneasy, some moving farther away, while others watched intently, curious about the unfolding drama. The hotel manager was trying to de-escalate the situation. "Sir, please lower your voice," the manager said firmly. "You've already been asked to leave. Disturbing our guest is not acceptable." The man ignored him, pointing directly at Caroline as she stepped out of the elevator. "There she is, little Miss Patriot, pretending she's better than everyone else. You think your fake patriotism makes you a hero? You're just another Trump puppet." Caroline kept her composure, calmly approaching the lobby area again. "Sir, I understand that you disagree with my views, but this isn't the place to settle political differences. Please, let's handle this with some respect." The man laughed bitterly. "Respect? You and your kind don't deserve respect. You think backing that racist idiot makes you some kind of savior? You're pathetic." A woman sitting near the fireplace, clearly fed up, raised her voice. "Hey, enough! She hasn't done anything to you. You're just being a bully." The man whipped around, glaring at her. "Oh, great, another brainwashed follower. You people are ruining this country." A middle-aged man standing by the coffee station chimed in, his tone stern. "You're the one acting out of line here. Leave her alone." The young man's frustration boiled over. Of course, a bunch of conservative idiots standing up for each other. Typical. You all can't see how dangerous people like her are. Carolyn took a step closer, her voice calm but resolute. "Dangerous? Because I believe in free speech and American values? Because I don't agree with the liberal narrative? That's not danger. That's democracy. You don't have to like me, but you do need to respect my right to my own opinions." The man sneered. "Your opinions are harmful. You act like you're some kind of hero when you're just spreading hate and division. People like you don't belong in public spaces. You're a disgrace to women everywhere." Carolyn straightened her posture, not allowing his words to shake her. "Standing up for conservative beliefs doesn't make me a disgrace. It makes me a voice for those who feel silenced. You might not like that voice, but you do not get to silence it with anger and insults. This is still America." Several guests nodded in agreement, murmuring their support. A younger couple approached, the man giving Caroline a thumbs up. "You're right, Caroline. Don't let him get to you." The manager stepped forward decisively. "Sir, this is your final warning. Either leave the premises voluntarily or we will contact security." But the man wasn't done. He pointed at Caroline again, his voice growing louder. "You and your Trump-loving cronies think you own this country. You're nothing but a disgrace to progress." One of the older guests, a woman with a soft Southern accent, stood up and addressed the man directly. "Honey, you're the only disgrace I see here. That young lady is showing more grace and dignity than you ever could. You should be ashamed." Frustrated, the man raised his arms. "Are you all blind? Can't you see she's the problem?" At that moment, two security guards entered the lobby, alerted by the commotion. The manager nodded to them. Please escort this gentleman out. He's disrupting our guests. The man tried to argue. You're kicking me out for speaking the truth? This is censorship. One of the guards, a large man with a calm demeanor, spoke firmly. Sir, you've been asked to leave multiple times. Please cooperate. Realizing he was outnumbered, the man glared at Karoline one last time. This isn't over. You'll pay for spreading your poison. As the guards escorted him out, the atmosphere in the lobby relaxed. Karoline exhaled, grateful for the support around her. One of the older guests approached her, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. Don't let people like him get to you, dear. You're stronger than that. Karoline smiled warmly. Thank you, it's hard sometimes, but I refuse to let hate dictate how I respond. A young girl with her family waved at Karoline. You're awesome, Miss Leavitt. Don't let that guy bring you down. Karoline chuckled softly. I won't, sweetheart. Thank you. The hotel manager apologized again. I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience, Ms. Leavitt. We take the safety and comfort of our guests very seriously. Karoline nodded. You handled it professionally. Thank you for stepping in. As the tension faded, guests began to approach Karoline, offering words of support and encouragement. Some even asked for selfies, which she gladly obliged, grateful for the positivity after such a tense moment. Just as she finally made her way back to the elevator, one of the receptionists whispered, You're an inspiration, Karoline. Not everyone would have handled that with such class. Karoline smiled modestly. Sometimes staying calm is the best way to win. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. With that, she took the elevator to her suite, reflecting on how the situation had unfolded. She knew the encounter wouldn't be the end of it, not in today's world where everything went viral within seconds. But she also knew one thing for sure. Staying calm in the face of aggression wasn't just about defending herself. It was about setting an example.